Hey guys, I'm Jordan and you're watching Fixbook. But 10 seconds before we get started, I made this video to help you, so please help me if it helps you. It only takes a second or two. It's a great help if you subscribe, like, and or leave a comment down below. That's it. Let's get started. So today I'm going to be showing you a performance upgrade that you can do to your car for free. And it's going to involve aligning your spark plugs. Hey guys, so I'm now here sitting in my living room. When I was making the video I was in my garage area that I always do the work. But at the time, I didn't know what the name of this was. I just remember doing this back in school, and at the time I probably knew the name, but I just had forgotten the name. So it's called indexing your spark plugs. Now, there's a problem with indexing your spark plugs. The spark plugs, the new spark plugs that you've bought, may not all line up with the fuel injector or the intake manifold. So, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be lining the gap up with the intake manifold or fuel injector. So, there's two ways we can kind of get around this. You can either buy a couple packs of spark plugs and then take the group of spark plugs and see which ones work, and you should be able to get 4 if you have a 4-cylinder. You should be able to get 4 that line up with your fuel injector or intake manifold. Or the other option is you could go on like eBay, or you can Google indexing spark plug washers or something along the lines of that. They actually sell these little kind of like metal washers that you can set down in there so that you can twist your spark plug in there and align it with the fuel injector intake manifold properly. So just remember that if you just have 4 new spark plugs, there's a chance that you won't get them all lined up. At the end of the day with this video, I was only able to get 3 lined up, and I don't care that much to go out and buy more spark plugs. I just was showing you guys what to do, but I did get 3 of them lined up, and then the last one I got like halfway lined up. So just keep that in mind. You may not be able to do this with just 4 new spark plugs or 8 new spark plugs depending on your application.
And the tools I used for today's video, guys, was a 3/8 ratchet, an extension, a spark plug socket, and some anti-seize from Permatex. Okay guys, now once you've got your spark plugs out and we're sitting right here, go ahead and put some anti-seize if you got some. Anti-seize, it's got to look like this right here. It's made by Permatex. It just makes sure that you don't rip the threads out when you're taking your spark plugs back out. And if you don't know how to take your spark plugs out and you're watching this video, I do have a video showing you how to take your spark plugs out, but it's pretty simple. Hopefully you know how to do that. Just make sure you don't do it when it's hot, because you could rip your threads out of your cylinder head. So go ahead and put some anti-seize on there. Then the trick is, and the theory behind this is, we want to point the gap towards the fuel injector. And how we're going to do that is, some people mark their spark plugs, and I'm going to do it like this. Now see, the arc right here is lined up with this line right here, and on this socket, not socket, extension, there's an H right there, and close to that H is this point right here, and down here we have this kind of point again. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this point up with the arc like that. Now I know that the H, okay, is kind of close to being lined up with this. So if you don't have any cool marks on your extension, what you can do is mark your extension. And what you want is, see how there's a corner, you got your 4 corners right here. I got a corner right there. Now this corner is lined right up with this arc right here. Okay, so this corner comes all the way down, is lined up with this arc. So when I'm sitting down and putting the spark plug back in, by the H, I will have a general idea of where it's at, and then when I take my ratchet off, I'll look at this corner, and that'll give me a more accurate location on my spark plug. And I also know that the arc, it's not perfectly lined up with this little corner, but I know the arc is just a little to the left, just a hair to the left, so I'll compensate for that when I go to put them in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it down, and I'm going to have this arc facing away from the fuel injector, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. Okay guys, so here I am. I'm going to put my spark plug in. I'm just going to set them down in there, and I'm going to go ahead and run them down in there. And the fuel injector is over here, so we want the gap facing the fuel injector over there. And that's going to make everything nice and pretty. And the idea is it's going to burn the fuel more efficiently and more completely. Now I've got to find my H, which is right here, and the corner is right there. So the H is actually where it needs to be, which is probably not a good thing because I'm going to have to tighten it a little bit, and that may take it that way. So we'll see here how that works out. I may have to take it back out and then try starting it a little bit differently, and hopefully we'll get it in there some way, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, and what I've done to kind of get it to line up here is I've switched from this hole to this hole, and where my fingers point right now is that point where the arc was lined up with. So it needs to come a little bit more to the right, and remember the arc's going to be lined up here, so it needs to be pointing away from here because the gap will be facing the fuel injector. And you're just going to have to keep on turning it just a little bit, and then be careful not to lose not to take the extension off the spark plug, because then of course you're going to lose your spot here. So now look, and it needs to come a little bit more. Now be careful guys not to strip your cylinder head, because you don't want to do it too tight getting it in there. And then just going to go a little bit more, and then we're going to look at that again, and that's looking pretty close. So it could stand to come a little bit more. I don't know if I want to tighten it that much. So you're going to wash, rinse, and repeat 3 more times. And if you can't get it to tighten down in the right position, and you really want to do it, you might be able to do some kind of washer or something. I don't know. I know it doesn't have to be extremely tight because it's not a moving part. So you don't have to do it too tight, and it should line up for you, and you should be able to get it tight enough to put back on. So that is how you line your spark plugs up for optimal combustion chamber burning, for burning your fuel. So that's all I have for today guys. Hopefully now you know how to line your spark plugs up. I thank all of you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Alright guys, and one more thing before I let you go. Just remember, do not over tighten your spark plugs. This is something that you can do, indexing your spark plugs, that will increase your performance just a little bit. But it's not worth it to go in and do this project and then you really want to get it done, so you just try and tighten it just a little bit more, and then you strip your threads in your cylinder head. So you don't want to go into a little project and make a big mess. So you don't want to destroy your cylinder head. So just keep that in mind. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So if you're gonna do it, make sure you do it properly. Don't try and over tighten it and destroy what you have, because then you'll be like, oh no, Jordan, it's all your fault. You showed me how to do this and I destroyed my car. I don't want that to happen. So just make sure you don't mess up what you got. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time. So guys, unfortunately that's all the time I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video just as much as I did making it. And fortunately, you can catch me again right here on Fixbook tomorrow on my next video. Just don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave lots of comments down below. Well, thanks again guys for watching, and see you tomorrow right here on Fixbook.